Give it up to the DJs, everyone. So if you're not familiar with CDR, I'm sure just by sitting in this room, you've probably worked out the format. It's a place for producers, musicians, music makers to come, submit their track, get it played on a beautiful sound system like Corsica Studios. And also it's a chance for you guys to mingle amongst yourselves. This is about community, it's about network. And one thing that we do as well is invite someone down and talk about their process, about their journey, and get a bit of a deep dive and insight into them. I'm very excited about this one. Many years ago, a good friend of mine, Ahad, was like, come down, organising a boiler room, venue MOT, love that venue, sick DJ called Bam. So I'm like, okay, cool, not heard of them. And absolutely shelled it. And since then, this was pre-pandemic, a lot's happened. There's been a lot of progression with your sound, with a lot of vocals, a lot of fusion from UK funky into more global sounds, in particular South African influence, I would say. But you can maybe correct me. But yeah, everyone give it up for Fiyahdred.
Thank you.
I even missed out the releases they've released on Hyperdub, Rhythm Section, Club Djembe, and their own label Wildfyah as well.
Yes.
So
Thank you for having me, honestly, and big up yourself as well, honestly.
It's a pleasure. So one thing I normally do just before we kind of get into a lot of these people are like, show me the project file, show me the plugins. but one thing we kind of do before we get into that is just have a bit of a chat on like your journey into music. Like, how did you start DJing? How did you start making tunes? Can you give us a bit of an insight into those early times? Was there like, this is me, this is what I've got to do? Or is it just slow burn?
It's always been about the music, honestly. Like, it's always been about the beats. I got into producing because I started beatboxing when I was really, really young.
I heard
6.
7.
Yeah, no, 6.
6.
Yeah. So I was doing that around
What
the
makes
house.
a 6-year-old want to beatbox?
Couldn't tell you.
Police Academy. Like what? Like where's that come from? It's just intuitive, or
It was really intuitive. There's not like a single point of reference for me to be like, oh, like I saw another beatboxer and then I wanted to do that. I was just imitating sound. Sound has always been a part of me.
So there wasn't even other people in your school doing it. You were just like,
no,
I'm gonna make these noises.
Yeah, literally. I'm gonna see what happens after that, really and truly. Yeah, there was always like a lot of music going up like in the house. My earliest memory of music would be my 4th birthday and Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio was playing. Very random. Don't know why that was happening, but
Did Coolio just pass away?
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Was it at the top of last year or something like that? Maybe like that.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, man.
So that was your first memory of music, Coolio, Gangsta's Paradise.
Yeah. That's the most prominent memory, like from my early childhood that I have. But that wasn't directly linked to me then becoming like a beatboxer and then me going on to do production. It was just always there.
So how did the step from Coolio to beatboxing to actually making music, whatever shape or form? Did you play any instruments? Did you?
No, I didn't actually play any instruments, but when I would go over to my cousin's house, he had FL Studio 3 on his laptop. So we'd be hanging out, chilling, whatever. When he's playing his game, I'm like, oh, like, let me use your laptop. I want to go on FL. Didn't know what I was doing, but I was very, very fascinated with just being able to put sounds together. Like, I can hear all these sounds in my head. I can hear music in literally everything.
You're how old at this age?
This was between 6 and 10, I think.
That's so young.
I know. It's crazy. Like, when I actually say it out loud, I'm like, that's mad.
And presumably no one else in your school was doing stuff like this.
I think there were people who were interested in music, but it was more so about wanting to like write music. At that stage, like grime was like prominent. A lot of people were like into like being one of the hardest MCs from their school or being one of the hardest MCs from their local area, like their primary school type of thing. But I was always fascinated with the beats, even when it came to grime. Like, I'm not the biggest grime head, but when you break down some of the structures and just how organically things came together, that was like a huge inspiration for me as well. But not no one I can think of that was just like in school making beats or wanting to make beats. That's just always been my thing.
I read that your older brother was a big influence.
Definitely. Like,
And that's where the UK funky came in from your older brother?
Yeah. So this was mid-teens now, 14, 15. My older brother, we got 6 years between us. So by this point, he's going to the raves. He's up in Vauxhall, Shoreditch. Like Babalu, Brixton, Super D, Pioneer.
So you weren't even going to the raves yourself?
No, I
you
couldn't
were too
be
young.
up in there. Like,
There's
I was living through
There's a thing called fake ID. I would have taught you back in the day.
I wasn't brave enough for that. I was happy being indoors, being an introvert, but just really engaging with the music. Like, all now, I can still hear blends from particular mix CDs, like going in one track into another track into another, because he's just blasting it from his room, getting ready to like go out. And he'll come back with the mix CDs because, every time you're going to a rave, there's a mix CD for the rave. Every time you're leaving the rave, there's a new one for the next one. He's always bringing it back. And I'm like, yo, these tunes are crazy. And that by this point, you're seeing it. I'm interpreting it as just UK funky as a whole. But I didn't know it was all these genres and different scenes from all around the world like melding together. But the scene was UK funky. It was UK DJs who have come from garage, drum and bass, so on and so forth, house as well, but they've made UK funky a scene. It's not just limited to a genre. So when he's bringing back the mix CDs, and I'm like, this is crazy, this is different. And all now there's a lot of tunes you can't even get IDs of from like UK artists, let alone probably like white labels from all over the gaff. And that's where the spark with like bridging the gap between US house, South African house, so on and so forth began as well, because I was able
from that age as well.
Yeah. Like,
okay, wow.
I was like, Black Coffee, Black Motion, right? It was all happening. It was crazy. Yeah.
And so, how was your process into that world? Was it like trying to deconstruct and replicate what they were doing? Was it tutorials online? Was there any forums? Was there any peers? Any ones that showed you the ropes on FL, or was it all just like trial and error on your own?
Yeah, it was mainly trial and error. There's not any specific tutorial within those like particular genres that stick out. And it was like, oh, make a Black Coffee type beat. It's just trying to figure out what is happening in the song. Like, you know that there's a pulse, so there's a kick, and then there's a bass line, and then all of these twinkly bits in between, and like just dissecting it. But there was no set formula. It was all just like figuring it out.
Did your beatbox play a part in how you laid down rhythms?
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. I think.
Were you even using a mic back then?
What, to beatbox?
To beatbox or lay down vocals, ideas?
Yeah, but I didn't enjoy how I sounded on a mic when being recorded in like a DAW. I didn't like the idea. I preferred beatboxing live because you just have that live element, and being able to alter the sound in a live space, it just felt more intuitive. And then because I wasn't too familiar of like the mixing, the mastering, how to emphasize parts of the vocal range, when it came to putting that in like a program, it just didn't hit the same. So I pretty much stayed away from like beatboxing on like any productions or whatever, but it really did help me dissect the beats and just imitating sound in general. It was just like, how do you structure that? How do you make that part of the arrangement?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all
kind of all seen like Timbaland's process where it's like
Timbo is a huge inspiration as well. Timbo, Aaliyah, like solid. Missy Elliott, it's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of thought it was mainly more UK influence, but I can hear that now actually a little bit. Like,
yeah, I think his productions, there's a lot of simplicity to it, but it's quite intricate as well. Like he's all about the pockets.
The pocket, 100%.
That's it. It's like these little. I don't even know how to put it into words. It's like, how have you?
It's a groove. It's a feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So you got the Timbo groove, the same way you got the Missy groove, and then working harmoniously with like a Leah as well, being able to. Yeah, just getting into it's past the pockets. You're in the seam allowance. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're just proper in the fabric now. Like,
if you ever get an opportunity, his autobiography is actually mad, like crazy.
I've been waiting on it. I need to get tucked into that. Yeah.
So like, tell me when it kind of like felt from a hobby into like, okay, this is what I want to do now. This is my thing. You know, because we spoke this week and you told me that you do music full time. So you've kind of been invested and driven from early, right?
So I kind of just always knew that this was going to be my life. I didn't really know what it was going to look like. I've wanted to give up plenty of times, but yeah, there's just an inner knowing I can't do without it. So I just have to ride with it type of thing. I left secondary school in year 10, so at 15, and I pretty much got straight into it. But before I left school, there was a poetry competition happening by the Poetry Society, and the competition itself was called Slambassadors. So when I entered it, not only was I doing poetry, but I was also doing beatboxing. And, you know, we had the experience of like being in a writing camp by writing poetry and then like performing as well. And that was like a first taster.
You got the bug.
I wouldn't say it's the bug, but I think it was just that sense of community and like having that support in somewhere that you didn't think you was going to find. And like, even though I was doing well in school in terms of grades, I was also finding it very difficult. And I'm just a creative person. When I'm like put to sleep and there's no other creative outlet to offset everything else that's happening, I'm just like, I'm not interested. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
So it was very impulsive, but I was like, no, I don't want to do school. So I ended up doing homeschooling. Shout out my mum supporting me.
Oh, your mum's here?
Yeah, my mum's here.
Big up,
mum. Yeah, my mum has been one of the biggest supports. Like, wanted to leave school. Are you sure you want to do it? All right, cool. Done it. Homeschooled. Didn't even finish the homeschooling. Found that difficult. But at least it gave me the freedom to literally explore anything. Like if I wanted to be outside at 1 p.m. and like just explore the world and then do some work elsewhere, then I can do that, but then also work on music. Like that gave me a sense of exploration and freedom. And yeah, all of those things combined, I was like, okay, cool, we're getting into the groove of like doing some shows, because the people that were running the competition,
And when did sorry to interrupt,
Go on.
but when did DJing come into it? Because a lot of
DJing
people
came after,
do
yeah.
DJing first and then they learn to produce.
Yeah.
But you kind of did it the other way around.
The other way around. Actually, you know what? It kind of happened at the same time. Like when I was homeschooling, I also got some decks. It was Newmark decks. Didn't even have like any turntable or whatever. It was just like CD player decks with a mixer. And I just burnt all the funky and house rhythms, even some dubstep tracks, some garage tracks. And I was just like figuring it out. Like all this trial and error, I was like, this is a vibe. Like it helped me with producing as well. I'm like, okay, let's make an intro longer. Let's like, how are people making their hooks sound good and all of that stuff. So all of that combined, as well as like being asked to come and perform in other places, is that at a young age as well, was like helping me get into the swing of it.
So you're being asked to play out places and stuff like.
Yeah, not as a DJ. At the same time, I was still like beatboxing and doing poetry. So I'd get asked to do like some beatboxing and stuff, but like being in performance spaces quite young, and then seeing how everything gets set up in terms of like DJs, performers, so on and so forth, I was like, this is cool. I like it. Like collaborating with people. At the same time, it was challenging because I grew up like very shy and like lacked confidence. And also being one of the youngest people at these performances, it was kind of like a bit of a mind boggler sometimes. But yeah, I mean, pushed through, bought decks, sold decks, bought controller, Serato, sold it again.
The evolution of technology.
The evolution, yeah.
So just like, you know, a lot of people in this room, and the beautiful thing about things like CDR is they come and they're just making music in their bedroom. A lot of the time, it's the first time they hear their music on a club sound system. But tell me about like maybe your first DJ gig or your first release, and did it feel like a landmark, and how did you get to that point?
Yeah, my project, my debut BAMS project, Buggin', it was a 6-track EP, and it was an ode to UK funky and like all the house sounds that I like, and didn't know what I was doing, but I was very, very proud of it. Like, made it in my bedroom, didn't really know what, like, I had a better understanding of what mixing and mastering was, but didn't really know it to standards or whatever. But I thought it sounded good. I started sending it out to people, and then from there, that's when, you know, Ahad was like, yo, like, come and do the boiler room. So I was like, oh my god, wow, that's crazy.
I didn't actually know that was how it happened, how the link up happened.
Yeah, like, because I sent it round to Sam Interface, or Snow at the time. Sent it round to him. I had like Marcus Nasty, like people on the funky circuit. And they're like, yeah, this is a vibe. So from there was like a little bit of buzz in that way, and it was like, oh, like being part of like the new school gen of like UK funky and like the UK house scene in that way.
It must be crazy making music, maybe influenced by your older brother, influenced by the UK funky scene, and now you've worked with people like Scratch the DVA, and you're getting recognition from peers, but also pioneers as well in terms of like in the scene. That must be quite a mad feeling.
It is mad, and I think what's madder is that me and my brother spoke recently, and he was like, watching you do your thing is like a full circle. Yeah. He's like, no,
now he's raving to your tunes.
Yeah, that as well. And he's learning how to DJ as well. We've done like a couple lessons, but he watches my videos on Insta sometimes. He's like, yeah, like that's mad. That's hard. Like, I'm just like honestly, if it wasn't for him, just that engagement and that transaction, it wasn't even like a direct transaction of like, here's the mix CD, listen to this. I was just in the environment, and you were just bringing it back, and I was just absorbing it all. And now it's like, by me existing and being able to engage with the music in my own way, he's being inspired by that. So it's like an equivalent exchange that we have now because of that. And that's a really, really beautiful part of our relationship. And I'm really glad that we've been able to give that to each other indirectly.
That is a nice full circle kind of moment.
For sure.
Shall we get into some of the... Let's get into the project files.
Let's do it.
What are you thinking for the first one?
So the first track I want to play is called Bottle Rhythm, and I'm quite proud of this track because, again, I was just in my house, had a bottle in my hand, walking over to the recycling bin, tapping it a few times. I was like, wait a minute, there's a little vibe going on there.
Quick sharp
quick U-turn. I said, set up Logic, set up the microphone, didn't know what I was doing, but I knew. I was like, okay, I got a glass bottle there, I got a plastic bottle there, I got a packet of tissues, let's see what we could do. And
what's the tissues got to do with anything?
Watch. Exactly.
Before we get into project file, do you reckon we could play a little bit on the master? Just play the actual finished tune. Yeah.
So this is Bottle Rhythm.
think that deserves a round of applause.
Thank you.
I feel like that's what Corsica sound system is good for. The low end there, it's pumping.
Yeah. Every time I've played here, I've always played bottle rhythm, and no matter what type of crowd it is, it's always been a good response. They're just like at the front, like.
When we spoke earlier this week, actually, you were saying how sometimes you feel a bit funny about self-releasing and like the mixing process and the master, but that sounded clean. That's what is meant for club sound systems. And you said that you were happy with this one, which is, you said something that maybe you're not always happy with, but you're like, this one.
Yeah, I listened to it and I said, no notes. No notes. Wrap it up. Don't be that person that's just like paralyzed by perfectionism as you usually are. Yeah, like nitpicking at everything because it don't like sound like this and da. Because what
which
made me
I think
proud,
every single person in this room, every music maker can relate to.
It's the paralysis. It's a lot. It's a lot. But
did this come together really quickly then?
It did. I think it was done in like a day, and that is very unusual for me. Extremely, must emphasize. I don't be wrapping up tracks in a day. Like the arrangement, everything. I was like, I'm just keeping it simple. I went back to it the following day and was just like, a little bit of automation here and there. But apart from that, I wasn't overdoing it, because the main thing was that I took something out of nothing and pieced together this track that wasn't a thing before, and that's something I was proud about.
Is that usual for you? Like, just like, right, I'm not gonna use any splice sounds, I'm gonna like make it myself? Or is this like just like you had a moment on the way to the recycling bin and being like, I gotta do this now, and this is a rarity?
Yeah, it's definitely a rarity, but it's always been a desire to do. So I was like, what's stopping you? Everyone was hitch up in lockdown. I had nothing better to do that day. I said, come on, like, stop stifling your creativity because you feel like it's silly, or maybe you feel like you don't know what you're doing. And I knew what I was doing enough to be able to piece the track together. But obviously there's some people out there who can really take a sample out of nothing and emphasize it, where it's just like, I wouldn't have even thought that's where it came from. Like, now listening back to this track 4 or 5 years later, I'm like, cool, there's a few things I'd probably like go back and whatever. Now I know I've leveled up on my production, but I still wouldn't do anything to it because it marks a milestone in just where I was creatively, and that's the main thing. You know what I'm saying?
Sick.
Yeah.
Come on, let's hear the bottle recording then.
All right.
Let's hear them bottles being clanged.
So I've like, this is all I recorded. So tissue shaker, like I said, packet of tissue into the microphone, just shuku shuku shuku. That was all it needed.
Kleenex rhythm.
Yeah, Kleenex rhythm. Yeah. You on to something. Fuji conga, Fuji bottle. That's it. Water bottle done.
Can we hear some of these layers?
Yeah. So let me put this on a cycle real quick. That's literally the tissue there.
So like a packet of tissues?
Yeah,
or?
just...
Wow.
And I was really trying my best not to laugh as I was recording, because I was like, this is nuts. Like, out of context, what is even happening?
Have you processed it and EQ'd it much, or is it just like as is?
A little bit of EQ just to take out some bits. Obviously, it was just like any rago recording. So yeah, just make sure that things weren't peaking on the top end.
What mic were you using?
At the time, I was using Focusrite Scarlett mic.
Okay.
Yeah, condenser mic. Some of these might have even been recorded with voice notes.
Oh,
and then
wow,
I just dragged
okay.
it in. So yeah.
Rago.
Just like whatever, innit?
Rago, yeah.
Like real rago, and I love that. But when you think about that, that's what people were doing back in the day. Hip hop, all of these things. Just taking it and running with it. So yeah, that's the tissue packet shaker. So
are these samples?
yeah, so this is from hitting, I should have really put that water bottle in like a glass box or something like that and be like, you know what, big up on herself. Yes.
Save it, yeah.
So I just like did different recordings.
Oh, that's from the water bottle as well?
That's from the water bottle, yeah. And I just chopped it up and then just arranged it in like, it's in a loop now, but they've just got like their own space.
And what are you tapping with? Just a pen or something?
Yeah,
or like...
it could have been a pen or a pencil, or
right.
could have been like
hard
finger tapping or something like that. So one of them, there's one in the center, there's one to the left, and there's one to the right. And there's a bit of EQ on there to take out the lows so that there's more of the mid-range, and then just taking off a little bit of the top end so that it's not like in your brain, basically. A bit of reverb as well.
There's really no mad plugins on it. It's kind of like straight up bottle and tissue.
Literally natural organic things. That's what I'm telling you. And yeah, similarly, it was kind of like the same concept for everything. Now, like the Cromanti bottle, this is a bottle of rum I got gifted called Cromanti. It's a really good rum. If you haven't heard of it, try it out. And yeah, just had a pen, was hitting it. So this is more like the glassy percussion overtones like on there. It's literally like, it's kind of, it's just got like a little bounce to it.
Yeah.
That's it. And like everything in context is just,
sick.
If I had to go back and do this all again, I would probably like focus more on the dynamics of each sample and not like put too much reverb or delay on it. Not because, you can have like a little sprinkle of it, but I felt like at that point, because I didn't really know too much what I was doing, I was maybe overcompensating. But when I listened to everything together, like the context of the track, like it makes sense. So with the programmed drums now, so I'll mute this. This is all I've got: kick, snare, a shaker loop, and some hats.
There's a little snare trill. Is that you programming, or is it?
Yeah, this was programmed.
And you just bounced to audio.
Yeah, just bounced it so that I wouldn't go back and.
Sometimes you got to bounce and move on.
Yeah, you got to commit to it.
Yeah, you got to commit. Yeah.
That's what I did. So we got like a soft kick here in battery. We turned the decay down. Oh, that's not even on, so I didn't do that. I've just filtered it. I've taken a lot of the highs off, so it's just like a soft,
Fud.
subby, just like a bit of a pulse. And with the snare, I was playing around with velocity and moving it around like the ear. So it like when it comes to that little trill bit, the velocities going from hardest to softest and then moving from one side to the other. So it's like, just having a bit of fun in your ears, basically.
I was going to ask, because it's interesting to people like me, and I'm sure a lot of people in the room, but you said you started on FL and now the choice is Logic.
Yeah.
When was that transition, and for what reason?
I really enjoy the cleanliness of the Logic interface. Like, I feel like I can just see everything and I don't get distracted too much. What I really love about FL Studio though is when you program drums, they just sound nice. You ain't got to overcompensate for anything, and it can be any drum. Obviously sample selection is very important regardless of what program or hardware you're using, but Logic just feels more intuitive for me, especially when writing melodies. I don't think it's difficult for me to come up with drums, but when it comes to wanting to write better melodies, I feel like I struggled with doing that in FL. So when I had the opportunity to come on to Logic, I jumped. But even between that, I was on Reason.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was like, I even forgot that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that happened.
You know they're still about.
Yeah.
They kind of like make plugins now, and they focus more on plugins than being a DAW.
See me?
But there was, I think there was a bit of a reason
for me to go back. Honestly,
I think there was a bit of a reason why.
Yeah. Da-dooms.
So like the pocket, the groove is definitely the water bottle and the percussion and stuff, but the real stink face comes from the log drum. Yeah. So talk us through that.
So once I had everything in terms of like the drums and the percussion down, I then went into FL. I exported the drums and
so you switching between the two for projects?
I switched because at this point I didn't really know how to get that log drum from Logic, whether it was from stock plugins or whether it was from using other plugins. Like I had that sound in my head and that's what I wanted. And it's not because like of being directly inspired by a Mapiano or Afro House. Like it's not because it's like, oh my God, because they use a log drum, I must use that. But
a lot of the South African producers do use FL, and there's like a stock sound that a lot of the log drums, right?
Of course, yeah. So it being a stock sound in FL, I was like, cool. For this track, that's all I could hear because I tried other basses. And I was like, all right, if this is what I got to do for this, then that is what I will do. Mm-hmm. If not, then that's also cool. So yeah, exported the drums and the percussion. I dropped that into FL. And yeah, I just wrote the bass line. I wrote it over 32 bars, which then allowed for automation to come in as well. So later on...
Do you have a particular process when it comes to writing of melodies, bass lines, more melodic elements?
I start off simple because back in the day, I used to really just go hard. I'm like, I want the bass line to be intricate, like filling up space. And it's like...
Chill.
You know, I wanted to let the beat breathe. But because in a lot of ways, like, this track is simple and I wanted the bass line kind of to be the star of the show, because when you hear it on a sound system like that, like you just want it to be punching from all areas basically.
And you drawing MIDI, or are you playing on a MIDI keyboard, or
yeah. So I played this bass line on a MIDI keyboard and I recorded it's even a 64 bar loop.
Oh, okay.
Usually I'll just do like an 8-bar loop when it comes to bass lines, and then I'll copy it and then maybe like make some changes. But I was definitely like in the groove and I wanted it to be like writing the melody with the bass line, almost as if it was like a vocal. Like I just wanted it to carry through the whole track. So yeah, that was my process for this track in particular. But every other track, when I'm just like building up a loop, it will just be like an 8-bar, maybe a 16, and then just vibe with that.
So we can't see it because you did it in FL.
Yeah.
But like with the processing, because there's a lot of, like I say, stink face in it. Are you just adding distortion or saturation to get really nice tones out of it, or?
No, I didn't add anything.
Really?
No, I don't think I did. I think it was just in the actual plugin with DX10, which is where the log drum sound is from on FL Studio, and you just play around with the frequency modulation, so make it like softer, ringing out a bit more, maybe filter it a bit.
We have a little play. Okay,
yeah. So you can hear it more in this section, that's where I was playing around with more of the controls in the DX10 plugin. So sometimes it goes softer,
so sick.
and then there's a roll, and then it expands, and then it's kind of got like that ring to it at the top. So it's just doing all types of things, just vibing.
But that, all those little, that must be drawing in MIDI, because that feels like...
I think I did one long note and then I just chopped it.
Yeah, right, okay.
And then changed like the velocity and stuff. Yeah, but in terms of like processing, I didn't add any distortion. I didn't want to overdo it because like I was trying to also understand like how Amapiano and Afro House DJs and producers, like they get the balance, and it also helped me understand mixing a bit more. Like not every drum has to be hard. Like the context of like a softer kick with like a hard bass line, that just unlocked something in my brain. I was like, bruh, like that makes a lot of sense.
Then they're not fighting for space.
They're not fighting for space, exactly. So they have their own pocket, and one of them is just providing like the pulse, whereas the other is providing like just, I don't know, I don't even know what you call it, like kind of like the fluidity, like that thing on top, that movement, that momentum. So I was like, yeah, that made a lot of sense. So in context with everything, I talk about the synths as well. I'll come back here. So it's a really just low droning lead. It's just like very mysterious.
And what VST is this?
So this is Capsule by Soundslate, and it's a good plugin, but the user interface is a bit dodgy sometimes, but it does really have like some good sounds in there. So I was using it on the trial at that point, so I thought, cool, let me just see what's happening. And then just and this is the main lead.
And again, like the bass line, this is you playing it in.
Yeah. That's it, really. And the synths were just really simple. It's just like little accents.
Yeah.
The bass line in terms of any melodic element was the star of this show.
The really interesting that I would consider you a part of, even like, you know, at the forefront really, is these UK producers that are taking sound from different parts of the world and creating something new through that fusion of, because you wouldn't call that a UK funky tune, but you wouldn't call it an Amapiano tune, you know. It's like, and I think that's like a really interesting sort of like intersection that's happening in the UK right now. I mean, I'm obviously biased, but I think UK's always led the way in certain times of music, but especially sound system led music, you know, be it jungle, garage, UK funky, and there's this like new wave of artists. Is that something that you think that's like intentional, or is it just like you just gravitate to what you gravitate towards?
That's a good question. I don't think it is intentional. I feel like when you, like, for me, when I heard certain elements of Amapiano, I was like, duh. Like, I was like, this makes sense. Like, obviously, it just made sense for me to just kind of unpick what was happening in Amapiano and like bridge it with UK funky. And when you dissect certain parts of it, cool, Amapiano's slower. UK funky got similar drums in terms of like the tone, the way like sometimes the snares are like smacking, the bass line it could either be like really simple or like really just like wild, but in the context of the track, like it just makes sense. And again, like talking about earlier and like exploring UK funky as not just a genre but as a scene, it's like I've been listening to South African music for a while. The same way like probably a lot of us haven't even realized that by listening to UK funky, we're listening to soca and we're listening to dancehall. And so we're listening to Afro house, Afro tech, so on and so forth. And even that has evolved, you know, a Mapiano evolving or taking elements from like Kwaito, and now it's evolved into free step.
Yeah.
And it's the overlap is just crazy. But I hear dancehall in free step.
Yeah.
I hear like some of the slower kind of like the calypso rhythms in like private school and Mapiano. It's bridging the gap is just crazy. Like it just made sense. So
I remember Scratcher talking about the tempo, because obviously South African Amapiano is slow, like 112 really.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna speed that up to UK funky tempo. I don't give a fuck. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And in a way, like that's what jungle did to funk breakbeats. Be like 160, 174 bang. Like you know what I mean? And it's like that like distortion of it in a way is actually what creates something like new.
Definitely. I feel like when we borrow these sounds like and we're inspired by them, like we obviously do need to tread really carefully because when we think about electronic genres especially, like a lot of these genres were birthed out of something, and you know someone needed to spread a message. So I think there was some type of conversation when maybe there was like some South Africans saying, what is funky amma? What is funky amma? Like you can't call it funky amma. And it's true, because like what a Mapiano was birthed out of was like, you can't just take and dissect like one word and then use it with another. But when we're talking about just the genre itself, you're just putting one word with another, and that's what is created. So I like, it's really interesting how we can kind of transmute that energy and transmute those type of sounds and turn it into something. And that is the beautiful thing about music. And for the people that care about just expressing creatively, they won't really make a fuss about it in that way. But for the people that want to make sure that the message doesn't get erased, like they're going to be loud about it. And both truths are existing at the same time. And
it's a very fine line, and I think authenticity and actual genuine love for the music is normally what differentiate. But there can be a very fine line between appreciation and appropriation.
Definitely. Even for me, like wanting to explore more of the Afro house sounds and knowing that a lot of the artists I like are South African, I'm like, well, me coming from London and being of like Caribbean descent, like am I even allowed to make Afro house? Am I even allowed to make Amapiano? Like I take things literally. So I'm like, can I even do this? But when we're actually talking about like dissecting the music and taking it in like sound by sound, it's like, no, this is where you're at with your exploration journey. And when we're thinking about the diaspora, like we're all interconnected. So when we go to a space and it's like, this is your space, thank you for letting me be a part of it. And like, how can we show up to let you know that we love what we do, we want to be involved, but we don't really want to step on any toes. And I have my own influences and I have my own ways and interpretations of the music that you make, but we got to share like context as well. So yeah, there's definitely a thin line, but communication is key, and just like just vibing really.
Is there more you wanted to share from this project, or should we move to another?
We can go to another project. That was pretty much it. Like I said, this.
Can we give it up for Bottle Rhythm?
Thank you.
You're You're never gonna look at your packet of Kleenex and bottle of water again now. You're gonna be like, I can make a tune out of that.
I'm telling you, like.
So what else we got in the canon? I don't even know what the next one is. I knew you were gonna do bottle rhythm.
The next one is one I've recently put together. And it samples Khalees's vocals from Khalees and Calvin Harris's track Bounce. And it's literally just Bounce. Like that is the only vocal that's in that. And this is like my interpretation of like melding together different subgenres of house. So like Afro tech house, UK funky, and that's it. Like I just heard the bounce vocal just circulating, ricocheting in my head for days. And I was like, let me just do this. I started making this and I was like, oh, okay, we're going somewhere.
Before you step to Logic or FL or whatever combination you're going to use, because obviously you got a moment of inspiration with the tapping on a bottle on the way to the recycling bin and you've got this lyric going on in your head. Do you go with intentionality of like, right, I know what I want to do here, or is it like I'm just going to figure it out?
I think that's where the beatboxing part comes into play. I don't beatbox anymore, but like if I'm coming up with an idea, I can't help but like try to interpret what is happening in my brain. So there'll be like the odd figuring out of like a hi-hat pattern, or maybe how the drums would sit, if it's going to be bouncy, if it's going to be swung, if it's going to be just straight forward to the floor type of thing. So that's typically what happens. So there's like a base level for me to go off. It's like a blessing and a curse, because if I don't get it right in my head, then I'm just like, frustrated. Yeah, it's really frustrating. And I'm like, I can't really do anything with this now. So it kind of feels like a lost battle on a day, but it's really not that deep.
Could we get, before we break down the project file, could we get a blast on the master of this track?
Yeah. Where we at? Okay. So this is this the correct one? Let me see.
This is unreleased.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. Really, really early stages, but I'm enjoying it. It takes me a while for me to like a track in its early stages. But I think this track has let me know that there's been so much development with the way I put together a track, that in its first or like couple demos, it feels like 75% already. Whereas before, it felt like I had a lot of work to do. So, yeah.
You were saying that you're in a really good place musically with like making music. Like you took a bit of a break and you're actually feeling in a really good, I don't know whether to call it a flow state or, but like in terms of like your productivity.
Yeah, rest has been really important. In a lot of ways, I haven't really had a choice.
That little vocal chop's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's cute, isn't it? Yeah. I haven't really had a choice but to rest. Like your body would just tell you to rest. And then there's some days I'm just intentionally like chilling. And I'm like, I needed that. And then I'm hearing the music in everything else. I'm hearing the music in other people's tracks. Just walking down the road, don't even have any music playing, and I'm just picking up what's happening around me. And I'm like,
it's something that, you know, you watch YouTube tutorials, how to be a producer, how to do this. People aren't talking about mental health, like resting, actually not putting pressure on yourself and stuff, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to talk, but I'm also like, I hope I'm not going to talk over the drop. Like,
yeah, you know what? The drop is like, I'm looking forward to making the drop on this track a lot stronger. But like, for where it is now, I'm just like, it's just a nice little bubbler. Yeah. When I'm like walking down the road and I got it in my headphones and I'm thinking about what I want to do to it, I'm like, that is where we need to go. Yeah.
That's part of the process to share as well, isn't it? Like a song definitely. That's in literally in work in progress, you know?
Definitely. Turn it up a bit. So like the idea I had in this track was like, I wanted the vocal to be there. I wanted there to be some synthesizers to kind of accent it, but whatever the effects was going to be on the vocals, that was just going to be automated, like almost like you was doing like a live DJ set. Like when I do a DJ set, my two favorite effects would be like the echo or the reverb. So I wanted to kind of incorporate that on the vocals as if it's like happening in the track, but also not like overdo it as well. So that's kind of like what I had in mind. And
should we get into the project file?
Yeah, let's get into it.
So presumably because you had this vocal in your head, did you start arrangement wise with the vocal and then build around that? Do you have a process first? Is it drums first? Is it like, you know, do you have an order in which that you build a track?
Yeah, you know what? I actually find it really difficult to sample. That is one thing I stayed away from for years, because I was just like, can't get the BPM, or like the cutting, like the trimming down the sample just wasn't clean, and I couldn't get the placement. So I was like, whatever. But slowly I've just been working myself up to sampling and then just making it work in my own way. So sometimes it will just be like a little one shot, sometimes it will be a little loop, and gradually I'm figuring out how I would like to sample, because I think that is the key light bulb moment I had as well. It's like, I don't have to sample like everybody else. Like, yeah, there's rule of thumb of like making sure that certain things are in time and it doesn't sound too off kilter, but ultimately like you have to have your own flair. So I wouldn't say there's a usual process when it comes to putting like samples and vocals, but in this project these are what I chopped up from the acapella. Let me go to the... So it's one in the middle and then one to the left and one to the right again.
Bounce, bounce, bounce.
I noticed you did that with the bottle as well. You had one in the middle and then you pan left, right and right just for stereo width, right?
Yeah, bit more of like imaging, and so that it's not just in one space. But I wanted the vocals to be like this as well, because if it was just like bounce repeatedly in the center, it would have just been boring. Yeah. But like those subtle changes of like panning one to the left and panning one to the right, it's like all around you. And so that's what I was going for. Literally all it took was to do this first bar.
Bounce, bounce, bounce.
And then I bounced that in place and then looped it. Bounce that in place. With this vocal, because of the part of the song, it was the part of the arrangement it was in, and the song originally, it already had like some
bounce, bounce, bounce
processing on it. So the actual acapella here doesn't have any processing on it apart from just like a transient master, which just takes some of like the tail of the existing effects that was on it from the acapella, so that when I put my processing on it with like the delay and the reverb, it wasn't like too harsh.
Really boring question, this one's for me, but like what did you have the acapella or did you use a stem splitter?
Yeah, I use a stem splitter.
Which one?
It was it La La La
La
AI?
La AI, yeah, that's a good one.
I haven't used any other ones, to be honest, but I'd like to try out.
I sometimes use Serato sample because you can use it in the plugin within it.
Yeah,
but it's not as good quality.
Oh, is it?
No, La La AI is good.
Okay, that's good to know, because I wanted to try Serato sample as well. Obviously, because it's a DAW, so I was like, that might be easier for workflow, but
it is easier for workflow because it's like you can do it right there and it's like instant.
Okay. So yeah. Now this is what it sounds like. Oh, it's got filter automation on it. So I'll get into automation shortly, but I've taken all the processing off.
Bounce, 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 bounce.
So it's center, left, right.
Bounce, bounce, bounce.
And I've just done that. And with the processing, I've put one EQ for like actual automation. So you can't hear nothing now, but it will gradually fade in, going from high to low, basically. What is that? I always get confused. Is that high pass or low pass filter?
I know what you mean.
Don't remember, because it's swapped around. Anyway, that always be messing me up.
So
honestly.
I don't know. I'm like in the highest and low pass filter, whatever.
All right,
We know what you
in
mean.
the comments, boy. So, and then yeah, there's another equalizer on there to equalizer. Why did I just say that? Is that what it is?
What? The EQ?
EQ.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, peeps. I'm losing my mind up here. EQ. There's another EQ up here just to take out some the harsh frequencies in there. Transient master as well. So it just sounds much softer, and it gives me more room to then put some creative effects on it, which would be the delay and the reverb. And that has like a lot of automation.
And you're just using Logic stock?
No. So I'm using FabFilter Pro Q2.
No, I mean for the reverb and...
oh, sorry.
Echo, yeah. I'm
using Realm by Native Instruments and also Replica XT by Native Instruments.
Bounce.
And how's that kind of playing off the drum pattern?
Off the drum pattern now.
Because it's kind of almost got its own rhythm, right?
Yeah,
in pocket.
exactly. So it's a punchy kick, and then I've taken a kick and kind of made like a percussion out of it as well, just to kind of give it like a bit more bounce. And
this is like classic Timbaland stuff, like with the kind of like percussions to give the like kind of off rhythms and stuff, you know, like.
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't think about it like that.
I think so. Even with the vocal itself, it's like, but.
You know, I actually had another idea as well. I was gonna take Deneo's My Philosophy, where he says bounce.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then just fling it in at the end of a random bar in here.
Yeah.
And then I was gonna take the Timbaland bounce sample. So it was just gonna be a whole symphony of bounces up in this whole track. Yeah. So that's an idea. Don't know if it will happen, but that's when my brain was flowing.
The JD Reed CDR we did was really interesting because he did some of his DJ edits where he's like, I'm just going to take my 8 favorite songs and put them together like to create this, but like using like wordplay and stuff like that on in a similar vibe.
That's something I would definitely love to explore, like just taking different like words from different songs and just like melding it all together. So yeah, those are the kicks, and this is like the claps and the hats. So before this clap comes in over here, the beat kind of just sounds like it's just gonna be like a tech house beat, and then the claps come in and it kind of makes it a bit more, I don't know, a bit more Afro, a bit more UK funky, a bit more clubby. It just sounds like it's just going to be a house rhythm, and it's just going to be like that for the rest of it. And then come in here.
Nice.
Yeah. And lastly,
Perks
in terms
and
of the
tops.
drums, it's just the percussion. So I never really used to be someone that used existing loops, because I did have that belief back in the day when like loops was cheating, and then eventually I was just like, bruv, what are you talking about? It's there for you to use. Like, there's so many tracks. We're talking about drum and bass jungle. Like, if it weren't for the loops being reused, we would not have drum and bass and jungle. We wouldn't have garage. So like, just chill.
If someone was like, I can't use the aim and break, someone's used that, we wouldn't have we wouldn't
have a lot of the songs that we have now. So yeah, so I've been exploring with some of the Apple loops that we have already. So
the Apple loops.
Yeah.
Wow, not even Splice or nothing. It's like,
yeah, you know what? I gave up on Splice because like subscription and then then have to download this and go through 1,000,001 whatever.
Let me just see what my laptop's saying. What's in here? Like,
yeah. I was like, simplicity, what's already here, use what you have. And also, I feel like that idea of using what you have is very important, because a lot of people now more than ever want to make music, and if I'm gonna be sharing my journey, I would also like advocate for people just using what they have and just learning your tool as much as you possibly can. Like, I've spent a lot of plugins, I spent a lot on plugins, and like couldn't tell you what I do with them.
Well, when we chatted earlier, I was like, we don't really need to chat that much because we'll just chat at the talk.
Yeah.
But one thing you did in lockdown was Bams on the Buttons, where you were like,
yeah.
And I thought it was amazing because you were just like showing your process and being just quite like honest and like, just like, this is how I do it. Not like, I'm going to keep all my secrets, you know,
Yeah.
And I just thought it was like really, really like nice that you're doing that. Like,
yeah, I enjoyed doing it, and then I just got in my own way. Like, that's it. Like, fear of being perceived or self-sabotage, or just like fear of being successful, fear of failing. I was like, am I really going to be consistent enough to like start a YouTube channel? And like, I'm someone that I always have bursts of creativity, not just in music. So my mind is just flinging everywhere. And I want to do this, I want to do that. So it's also easy for me to get distracted. And eventually I was just like, oh, this isn't going to work. Let me just wrap it up. And then obviously I changed my name as well. So I was like, it's not going to be Bams on Buttons anymore. But I'm happy you said that, because that's something I'm working towards, just sharing more of my process. And because I love production. Like, this is my main thing. Like, I love DJing as well, and it's hand in hand for me. But I've just fallen back in love with it, and just like with like the notion of like sound design as well, not just like using what's already in the box, but taking something outside of the box and bringing it in. I'm like, I've just enjoying it again. So yeah, I think the best thing you can do in life is just be yourself, and I want to be myself, and hopefully that inspires people like me with like similar identities or complete opposite. It doesn't really matter, but I also want to be the representation that like I wanted to see when I was younger as well. So yeah, that's something I just want to keep doing. Like,
I want to farm it out to any people in the crowd who's got questions, so have a think. But is there any more of this track that you wanted to show and break down?
Yeah, so I actually wanted to break down some parts of the synths as well. So all of the synths, I use Arturia pigments.
Sick.
And like I said, I've definitely spent some money on plugins over the years. And I would say pigments is probably one of the best investments I've made. And I've got to know it a lot more over the last month or so. And it's so brilliant. Like, the fact that I bought it once and then you can just have these lifetime updates. I bought it when it was Pigments 2 and now we're on 6. And all of the things that have happened within the plugin has just been amazing. So there's like a lot of automation happening in this particular synth. Where is it? No, that's the bass. And it's just so simple. But what makes a synth different is all of these.
That's automation coming from within parameters within pigments.
Exactly.
Right.
So like, let me go into the plugin as well quickly. So like all the macros.
Blue View.
Let
Check
me
for the
do this.
preset name always.
Yeah, definitely.
But you've modified it.
Not that much. Not that much. Barely. Where am I going now? I want to change.
But with the modulation, I mean, like.
Oh, that's it. Resize window. So it's very one finger beat, but by the time you add all of these different vibes to it, and you can learn the automation and all of that, like it just expands into something really different, and it just gives you something consistent to listen to within the track, away from just the vocal that I put in there. Yeah, like I would get into like a lot of it right now, but I know we're kind of like pressed for time and stuff, but you can see there's like some dry and wet effects here. Some of the voices.
Even if we did, I feel like a lot of this stuff is just through experimentation, and that
That's
becomes
true.
each to their own individual preference of like twiddling knobs or like drawing in automation, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm not even sure it's something that you can like really be like, this is what to do, you know. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
it's a feeling.
It is a feeling, and even to like touch on that, there was a video I watched maybe sometime last year. Aluna, she was collaborating with someone. I don't remember who it was, but they were in a session and talking about how they loved the imperfection and like impermanence of using outboard gear and like hardware. And I was like, yeah, you're right, because I don't have access to outboard gear, but I took that idea and like philosophy and thought, like just feel it out. Like instead of it being so like logical and methodical, it's like you have to bring the feeling back into what you do. And that is what music and art and literally anything is anyway. So I've just been thinking about that a lot more, and that's kind of helped me with.
I've also seen you DJ, and I think you DJ similar to me, where you're like on the filter and the effects, and that's something you just kind of like groove with, you know, like, and that's something that it's not like you replicate it the same every time. It's just like how you do it in that moment, you know.
Exactly.
Which it looks like you've kind of done with pigments and that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I think that's the beauty of like the trial and error and just having a vibe. Like you might have some really great mistakes, and it's like, oh, that's something I can run with now. So I think with that, what I wanted to really emphasize on this is that like it's such a simple thing to do. It's on the same note, just spread out over the bar, and then it's like you got automation, and then it just changes like the dynamic of the track. So yeah, in context or with everything, it's like that's kind of it for this track, to be honest. It's still a work in progress, but I really enjoyed making it as well. So yeah, thank you.
So I've just been having a good time chatting with you. I just had a look at the watch. We've overrun quite a lot.
Is it?
Yeah.
Professional yappers.
But professional yappers. So I just want to like, you know, basically big you up. So
Thank
everyone
you.
make some noise for Fiyahdred. And
Thank you.
Do we have time for some questions? Couple of questions.
Couple
Yeah.
of
Sorry, I
cues.
didn't actually realize how much we'd overrun.
Yeah, me either.
So has anyone got any questions in the crowd? That person in the cap.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I was impressed that, like, as far as Logic projects go, yours seem remarkably organized and structured. And looking at the groups and the regions you're using, I'm just curious whether that structure, you use it as something to allow creativity to flow out of it, or if that structure emerges during your creative process and then you can kind of identify the groups of like sounds, and that's something you then kind of work with as it emerges.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. So I feel like, as far as organization goes, like all of this color coding and grouping, that comes after establishing a structure I'm kind of vibing with. And then I'm like, cool, if anything happens after that, I know where to put it. I know where to piece it together. But it isn't always like this. When I'm arranging tracks, or when I'm in the process of producing the track, I'll just typically keep it to just like naming the channels and just making sure that I know where everything is. But there's a lot of room for fluidity. There's a lot of room for things to be shifted around. So it won't be a permanent thing until I feel within myself that like it's past the point of nitpicking at everything and then I need to like shift it all over again. But organization is very important for me. Like I can't deal with mess. Like I don't like a messy desktop. I don't like a messy like arrange page.
Do not ever look at my desktop. All my project files.
Are you someone that's like
No, I'm terrible.
1.1,
I'm terrible.
1.2? But yeah, like that's kind of like my typical structure. Like I won't go overboard at the beginning, but when I've kind of got the feel of it, I'll be like, cool, we're committing to this enough. And then anything that happens after that, you have like an idea of where everything goes. But I hope that answered your question. And yeah, thank you for your question as well.
I think we've got time for one more. If anyone, you had a question? Oh, really? It was about organization. Nerds.
Thank you.
Question?
Yeah, I was going to say, are the bottles still in possession?
Unfortunately, they're probably in landfill because, you know, the government be lying to us, telling us it's going recycling and it really ain't. But no, they're not. And like I said, I should have put it in a glass frame because you never know. Might be worth something down the line.
I actually told you should bring a bottle and just show the vibe. I was disappointed. but what bottles don't even exist anymore? It's all these like recycled cans. So anyway,
I mean, anything, man.
Yeah.
Trust me.
But honestly, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your process. Big yourself up. You're a really great producer, and it's really amazing to like share your story and your process. So CDR, please give it up one more time for Fiyahdred.
Thank you. Yes, and equally a great conversation. A pleasure to talk with you, and thank you CDR for having me, and thank you all for being here. Like honestly, it's an honor, and yeah, just really grateful for this experience. Big up.
So you guys know the deal. There's going to be some more tracks played, but this also is the important part of CDR. Like talk to each other, have a chat. You know, you guys are all in a similar position. You all make music. We're all here for the same reason. So big yourself up as well.